Oh. So here's the thing. What do you do if you've had a mildly interesting car history covering a few 3-cylinder hatchbacks, quite a few 4-cylinder cars, including a really interesting Westfield, one 5-cylinder car, a Fiat Coupe 20-valve turbo, and a couple of 6-cylinder cars, a couple of Porsche 911s. What do you do if you're looking for the next motoring experience? What's the car you'd go for? Well, in my case, the answer is this car. It's a late 2015 V8 Aston Martin Vantage. And it wasn't a really difficult choice at all, because I've lusted after one of these for many, many years. But for one reason or another, I've dithered and never quite taken the plunge. So finally, decided this was the year that I was going to go and get this car. And of course, just like many of us petrol heads, I spent a lot of time, many, many happy hours on Auto Trader, Piston Heads and a few other websites looking for the ideal car. And after having looked at quite a few, and by God there are a few around there, but quite a lot of examples you may not want to go near, I found this really good example up at Warford Cars in Morbally near Manchester. So after a couple of phone calls, I trotted off up the M6 over to Warford Cars, and it turned out to be a great example. A really good car, well looked after by previous owners and well presented by the guys at Warford Cars. And Jordan there was very kind, took me for a very long test drive on a mix of roads, dual carriageways, gave me a chance to really experience the car, and the deal was done. And it was a good deal. I've got a couple of rules when it comes to buying cars, but particularly, shall we say, slightly more exotic cars, which come with, you know, every now and then a few challenges. And that is to always buy a car leaving around 10 to 20% of your budget in the bank, so that you have something set aside for a rainy day. And of course, rainy days do come, and it makes the car buying experience that much more relaxing, because you know you're covered, more or less, if anything terrible goes wrong. So the deal was a fair one, and included a good, comprehensive 3-year warranty, which again gave another peace of mind. And the other thing I wanted to do was to make sure that the car, which was in excellent condition, was protected, the bodywork particularly. So on a recommendation from Jordan, we had the car arranged to go for a complete ceramic coating, a detail and all sorts of things, to Dan at Muff Wash, about half an hour from Morbally. So before pickup, the car went off to get all of that done. Now, I don't know about you, but if you need to wait when you found the car of your dreams and there's a week or two in between, oh my God, it's torture. Spending all that time thinking about the car, wanting to experience the car and dreaming of what it would be like. So the days passed extremely slowly, but finally pickup day came. And we trotted off again, myself and my better half, up the M6 to pick up the car. And it was everything we'd thought it would be. Oh,
nice. Goodness.
Oh my gosh, it looks more metallic, doesn't it? It's stunning.
Stunning.
So what do you think?
It's just speechless. I can have my present, please, for Christmas.
Yes, doesn't Oh yeah.
Oh, you look good in that.
It's lovely.
Oh well, I'm glad to see we're in good company.
Yeah.
And driving back was a wonderful experience as well. The first long drive in the car on motorways. This is a wonderful car. It actually works very much like a GT, and it's a pleasure to just cruise along and enjoy it. But if you get down onto the twisties, it's also a really good car, very enjoyable car. I wouldn't say it's an out-and-out sharp sports car like, say, a 911, but it just is very satisfying to drive. And one interesting thing is it rides our broken pothole roads really well compared to a couple of 911s I've experienced. It means that everyday usability is very high, and you know that you've got that great combination of a laid-back tourer with a sports car whenever you want it. And then, of course, there's the controversial matter of the sports shift. Well, I actually wanted a sports shift car. I've had a few manual cars, and I'd heard a lot about the sports shift, including all the criticisms people have leveled at this particular system. And I just wanted to experience that and see how it felt in daily use. And I have to say, once you realize that it is not an automatic, it's an automated manual, then everything is fine. You just need to know that, for example, as you're changing up, you need to lift off. It's exactly the same thing you do if you're changing gears manually in a manual car. So you lift off a little bit, and what it does as well is it down changes for you. If you don't want to be bothered down changing, you can just let the car down change when you come towards the junction, and it's very smooth. Sometimes it does feel a bit clunky, and it's like you've put a learner driver in charge of the clutch while you're trying to make progress. And that's not at higher speeds. That's generally when you're maneuvering at lower speeds in traffic, where there's a few kind of clunks and hesitations from the gearbox, especially if it's caught trying to switch between gears and you maybe ask it to either slow down or speed up. There can be a clunk, but generally that's only in first and second gear. Otherwise, it's a fantastic system, and I would say to all the people who criticize it, try one first. Remember, it's an automated manual, and I think you'll have a great time. So overall, what do I think? Well, I think it's a fabulous car. I'm really happy with it, and I'm looking forward to having lots of adventures, quite a few road trips planned over the coming year, most of them in the UK this year, but one or two hopefully into Europe as well. And it'd be great if you can come along and join me on the open road.